My name is Nick Scobee. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Switzerland and give you a little bit of information about the country itself and how to market in that country. So let's get started to give you a little brief facts about Switzerland. Population is a little over 8 million. It's well known for its large baking industry. Another big factor of Switzerland is it's been neutral in all of the world wars so far, and it's not a member of the European Union and has 4 official languages. This can be a big factor when marketing in that country because it doesn't have the same marketing aspects as the European Union, and with 4 official languages, it becomes a big factor with how to target which parts of the country. Another factor of Switzerland is, so we'll talk about its history a little bit. It's been around for a long time, not always known as Switzerland. It was around the 13th century that it began to gain some of its own independence, and in 1921 it became its own country. So it's not that old, it's relative terms. Some demographics, and this is useful for marketing. It's 15.1% is ages 0 to 14, 11.4% is 15 to 24, 43.9% is 25 to 54, 12% is 55 to 64 years old, and 17.5% of the population is 65 years and over. So as you can see, the bulk of the population in Switzerland is 25 to 54 at this moment. The median age being 42 years. The population growth rate is at 0.78%, which means it's not growing at the same rate as people are dying at this point. A little more demographics. For ethnicity, 65% of the population is German, or is German background, speaks German, I should say. 18% speaks French, 10% speaks Italian, and 1% speaks Romansh, and there's 6% other, and that includes things like English and other European languages. For religions, the main religion is Roman Catholic at 38.2%. Protestant is next at 26.9%. Muslim is 4.9%. Other Christian denominations is 5.7%. And then just other religions is 1.6%. 21.4% don't have a religion. And there's 1.3% unspecified for their religion. For languages, 64.9% of them speak German, and that's one of the official languages. 22.6% speak French, another official language. 8.3% speak Italian, another official language. And then there's a lot of other small amounts of languages. Serbo-Croatian is 2.5%, Albanian is 2.6%, Portuguese is 3.4%, Spanish is 2.2%, English is 4.6%, and Romansh, which is another official language, even though it's only at 0.5% of the population. Literacy rate in Switzerland is phenomenal. It's 99% literacy rate by age 15. The obesity rate is only 17.5%, and your schooling expectancy is 16 years. Now to talk a little bit about government type. It's a legal foundation of the modern federal state. It's a Swiss parliament, is how it consists of 2 houses. There's a Council of the States, which is 46 representatives, 2 from each canton and 1 from each half canton, who are elected under a system determined by each canton and the National Council. The country with the lowest marginal Switzerland is the country with the lowest marginal tax rate on average income workers at only 20%. Human rights are guaranteed by Switzerland, which is a phenomenal thing. But in 2012, the franc, which is their unit of currency, did have a little decline. It's on the rise slightly now, but it's a judgment type call. Talk a little bit about corruption and transparency in the business world. Switzerland has a strong legal framework to combat corruption. The Transparency International Global Barometer in 2013 shows that 58% of the surveyed households believe that corruption has not changed over the past 2 years, and 28% believe that it's actually increased, which is not necessarily a good thing. However, Switzerland has a lot of things to try to target this and combat this. Companies in Switzerland, however, do not consider corruption a problem for doing business, and many Swiss companies are active in corporate social responsibility, and so they're trying to do things in the community and do their part, and so we're trying to counteract any corruption. Now we'll talk about trade in Switzerland a little bit. Switzerland has a positive trade balance of $62.9 billion. Net imports are $248 billion, is the 19th largest importer. And that's increased 2.9% annually over the last 5 years. $311 billion of net exports, it's the 16th largest exporter. And that's increased 7.3% annually over the last 5 years. And this really is good for just analyzing marketing and business aspects of Switzerland, because you get to see that the company is having growth, it's having success, and it's also going to show, if you're trying to do international business there, that there's not as many products being imported in as are being exported. However, they might need materials and other aspects like that for their products that they want to export. So it's that, you look at marketing aspects of that. Talk about trade a little bit more. Their main export partners are Hong Kong, Germany, the US, India, and France. Their main import partners are Germany, US, Italy, France, and China. They have 28 free trade agreements with the European Union, and they have 38 partners outside of the European Union. I think that Switzerland having this, not being part of the European Union, they use it to their advantage by targeting many countries in the European Union for trade. It is also a member of the European Free Trade Association, member of the World Trade Organization, and a member of the United Nations. If we're talking about trade barriers, they have a high tariff for agricultural products. They want their agriculture to stay in their own country, so they don't want you coming in there with agricultural products. And they have restrictive approval for biotech products, so a lot of risky products and stuff like that, they don't want coming into their country if it's potential causing problems in their country or potential pollution or potential issues. They want to avoid that, and so they don't want that stuff being made or brought into their country. Another big part is for food retailing, it's very difficult to go into that market if you're not a Switzerland-based company. I think it's only a couple companies own like 70% of the grocery retail in that country. And so it becomes very difficult for other countries or other nations if they wanted to come in there and start a grocery retail. However, Switzerland has been working to try to remove some of their trade barriers to improve business coming into their country. Look at Hofstede's findings a little bit. For power distance, it ranks at a 34 as compared to the US at 40. This means that the society believes that inequalities amongst people should be minimized. For individualism, it ranks at 68 as opposed to the United States at 91. And this is a high preference for a loosely knit social framework in which individuals are expected to take care of themselves and their immediate families only. In individualistic societies, offense causes guilt and a loss of self-esteem. The employer/employee relationship is a contract based on mutual advantage. Hiring and promotion decisions are supposed to be based on merit only. Management is the management of individuals. For masculinity, it ranks higher than the US, actually at 70, with the US only at 62. And this means that it's a very masculine society, highly success-oriented and driven. You can kind of see this within their banking industry. For uncertainty avoidance, they rank at 58 as opposed to US at 46. With French-speaking Switzerland has a strong preference for avoiding uncertainty, while the German-speaking Switzerland scores lower. So this kind of goes in with the different cultures affecting them in different ways. Now we're going to long-term orientation, much different than the United States. It ranks at 74 as opposed to the United States at 26. What this means is that Swiss culture is pragmatic. People believe that truth depends on situation, context, and time. It does not seem likely that any of these things will change as Switzerland tries to maintain its current position in the world. And so when doing business, you need to, like marketing, especially in this country, you need to analyze how these factors come to account, how the people are, different cultural differences and that kind of aspect. To know some of the cultural issues, because it's multilingual, you need to know how you're targeting that part and which part, because someone like we just established, someone with French cultural in Switzerland has different values and beliefs in a sense than someone who's German, has German culture in Switzerland. And so there will be some similarities, and that's like an analyze type thing. But you gotta understand these differences and what that might mean. They love to spend time celebrating their Swiss culture itself. So this kind of goes where you can analyze and target the fact that similarities between them. They love their country, they love the beauty of their country, and so stuff like this is a good tool to use. When doing business with them, you need to be punctual. It's very important to them. They're very cold and serious, and so they don't do a lot of joking around with business. And they're tight on rules, and they prefer things to be in private and not in public. Compared with Western European countries, trade unions play a rather minor role in Switzerland. Only every fourth employer is organized in a union or confederation. Their main thing is they just do a regular daily business thing, kind of like here in the U.S. Same like 8 to 5:30 type of business day. Swiss labor law covers all standards governing the employment of some kind. The regulation of employment by private employers is largely harmonized at the federal level, while public sector employment still prevails a variety of cantonal laws. A big part of marketing and just communicating in this country in general is nonverbal communication. Basic nonverbal communication rules are not very different in Switzerland than in other northwestern European countries. The Swiss will never reveal right away what they are thinking. So when talking to them or when marketing to them, you have to kind of work for an answer and be patient. That's a big aspect of it. And if you just sit there and try to jump into an answer, or keep rushing them, it's not going to go well for you, and you may lose a deal or you may lose customers if you're trying to market to them. So that's just a little bit about Switzerland. I don't have much more to talk about. Thank you for listening, and enjoy your day.